At 79, Barry Gibb finally speaks about his late brother, Maurice. Barry Gibb, born Barry Allen Crompton Gibb on September 1, 1946, was the eldest of the Gibb siblings. He grew up in a family tightly bound by love and music. Robin, Maurice, and himself, together forming what would become one of the most iconic bands in history, the Bee Gees. From a young age, Barry felt the pull of music. He and his brothers sang together, harmonized together, and dreamed together. Influenced by the Everly Brothers and the early waves of rock and roll, they found their own voice, small at first, but unwavering. The Bee Gees' journey began in Australia, where Barry's voice, rich, emotive, and capable of soaring falsettos, started to define their sound. Returning to the UK in the late 1960s, their music reached a wider world. Hits like Massachusetts, To Love Somebody, and Words reflected Barry's gift, an uncanny ability to translate deep emotion into melody. By the 1970s, the Bee Gees became more than a band. They became a soundtrack to a generation. Their falsetto-driven harmonies filled the airwaves, shaping not just the sound of disco, but the culture of dance, nightlife, and freedom. Yet, behind the glittering highs, there was always Maurice, the quiet, grounding force. Barry now reflects on what he calls the heart of the Bee Gees. People remember the harmonies, the high notes, the flashy moments, he says. But Maurice was the foundation. He made the music feel alive, like it was coming from a real family, not just a band. Maurice's brilliance was subtle but essential. He could move seamlessly between bass, guitar, keyboards, and vocals. His versatility gave the Bee Gees depth. He wasn't in the spotlight, but every note bore his imprint. Barry speaks also of the man behind the music. Maurice had humor, patience, a way of easing tension. In a band of three brothers, friction was inevitable. Yet Maurice kept them grounded, reminded them of their bond, and ensured that no matter the stakes, the music always came first. The loss of Maurice in 2003 left a silence Barry describes as profound. "He wasn't just my brother," he admits. "He was my closest friend, my collaborator, my sounding board. When he died, there was a gap that could never be filled." And yet, even in grief, Barry honors Maurice. He speaks with honesty and reverence, correcting history's oversight. Maurice's quiet genius, his versatility, his subtle presence, these were the threads that held the Bee Gees' extraordinary sound together. "Anyone who really listens," Barry says, "knows he was essential. Every note, every chord, every nuance, it's Maurice. And he deserves that recognition." At 79, Barry Gibb offers more than a tribute. He offers perspective. On family, on art, on love, on loss. Maurice was more than a musician. He was a brother, a friend, and the quiet heart of a global phenomenon. And through Barry's words, that heart continues to beat.